I never told anyone about the 73 steps. Not because I was afraid they wouldn't believe me, because I was afraid they would. Afraid they'd nod slowly and back away and call someone in a white coat. Afraid they'd be right. It started with a staircase, not in my house, in a dream. The same dream every night for a week. I was standing at the bottom of a long, narrow flight of stairs. The steps were made of dark wood, worn smooth in the center by countless feet. The walls were bare plaster, the color of old bone. Above me, at the top of the stairs, a door. Just a door, no light around it, no sound behind it. Just the door and the 73 steps between us. I counted them every night. 1, 2, 3. By the time I reached 72, my legs would burn, my heart would hammer, and then I'd take the 73rd step and my foot would go through it. Not fall through, go through. Like the step was a photograph, and I was stepping into the space behind the frame. I'd wake up gasping, my sheets soaked, my left foot tingling as if it had fallen asleep. On the 8th night, I didn't wake up. I took the 73rd step and I kept walking. The door opened. Inside was a room I knew, my childhood bedroom. The same blue wallpaper with the rocket ships. The same bunk bed I'd shared with my brother before he died. The same window overlooking the same backyard where we'd buried our hamster in a shoebox. But something was wrong. The room was inverted. The window was on the wrong wall. The door was where the closet should have been, and on the ceiling, written in what looked like crayon, were 2 numbers. 7 and 3. I woke up screaming. My roommate burst into my room. I told her it was a nightmare. She didn't believe me. She said I'd been shouting in a language she didn't recognize. I told her I didn't speak any other languages. She said, "You did tonight." That was the first crack, not in the wall. In reality, the number 73 started appearing in my waking life, not on clocks or receipts, in places that made no sense. I'd be driving and glance at the odometer, 73,073. I'd order coffee. The barista would write 73 on my cup instead of my name. I'd open a book to a random page, page 73. The first sentence, "The staircase has 73 steps. Don't count them. They count you." I stopped sleeping. I was terrified of the dream, but I was more terrified of what would happen if I didn't dream. The number was growing inside me. I could feel it. In my bones, in my teeth, in the spaces between my thoughts. I'd be having a normal conversation, and then I'd lose a second, just a second, a gap. And in that gap, I'd hear a whisper. 73. I went to a sleep clinic. They hooked me up to electrodes. They watched me dream. The next morning, the technician looked pale. He said I'd slept for exactly 73 minutes. He said my brain waves had been normal, except for a single spike. A spike that occurred 73 times per minute. He said he'd never seen anything like it. He recommended a neurologist. I didn't go to the neurologist. I went to the library. I spent 3 days researching the number 73. It's the 21st prime number. It's a permutable prime. It's the atomic number of tantalum. None of that mattered. What mattered was what I found in a book of folklore from a region of Eastern Europe that no longer exists. A book with no author and no publication date. A book that wasn't in the library's computer system. The page was yellowed. The edges crumbled. The text was in a language I didn't know, but the illustration was clear. A staircase, 73 steps, a door, and below the illustration, a single sentence in English, written in pencil in a handwriting I recognized as my own. The 73rd step is not a step, it's a mouth, and you've been walking into it since the day you were born. I checked out the book. The librarian said it wasn't in their collection. I showed her the barcode. She scanned it. The computer beeped. "Item not found," she said. I showed her the title page. It was blank. I opened the book to the illustration. The page was white. The drawing was gone. The pencil handwriting was gone. I closed the book, opened it again. Nothing. Just blank pages. I left the library. I went home. I stood at the bottom of my apartment stairs. Real stairs. 14 steps to the second floor. I walked up them. Counted. 14. I walked down. Counted. 14. I did it again, and again, and again. On the 7th repetition, I reached the top landing, and there were no more steps. But I kept walking. My foot came down on nothing, and I fell. I didn't hit the floor. I hit a step. A wooden step worn smooth. I looked up. The staircase. The narrow walls. The bone-colored plaster. I was in the dream, but I wasn't asleep. I could feel the wood under my palms. I could smell the dust and the old wood and something else. Something sweet. Something rotting. I climbed. 1, 2, 3. I counted each step. My heart pounded. My breath came in short gasps. By the time I reached 72, I was crying. Not from fear, from understanding. I knew what was behind the door. I'd always known. The door was the thing I'd been running from my entire life. The thing I'd buried in childhood bedrooms and hamster graves and the spaces between seconds. I took the 73rd step. My foot went through it. Not into emptiness, into something solid, something warm, something that gripped my ankle and pulled. I fell forward. The door opened. I tumbled into the room, my childhood bedroom. The blue rocket wallpaper, the bunk bed. But the bed wasn't empty. My brother was there. He was 7 years old, the age he'd been when he died. He was sitting on the bottom bunk drawing with crayons. He looked up at me. His eyes were black, not dark, black, like holes in the world. "You finally came," he said. His voice was mine. Not his, mine. "I've been waiting for 73 years. I told him that was impossible. I was 34. He'd been dead for 27 years. He shook his head. He held up his drawing. It was a staircase, 73 steps, a door, and at the bottom of the stairs, a figure with my face. The drawing was labeled in crayon, "The one who forgot." "You forgot," he said. "You forgot that you died too. The same night, the same accident, the same car that hit us on the way home from the movies. You were in the back seat. I was in the front. The impact threw you from the car. You landed on the pavement. Your heart stopped for 73 seconds. Then it started again. But you weren't the same. You came back as missing something. A step, the 73rd step. And you've been trying to find it ever since." I remembered. Not the accident. The thing after. The darkness. The staircase. The door. I'd been here before. 73 seconds of death. 73 seconds of walking toward a door. And then the paramedics had shocked my heart, and I'd been pulled back. But part of me had stayed. The part that knew the truth. The part that knew my brother was still here. Still waiting. Still drawing. "You can stay this time," he said. "The door closes in 73 seconds. If you stay, you don't have to go back. No more counting. No more nightmares. Just the room. Just the crayons. Just me." I looked at the door behind me. It was still open. I could see the staircase. The top step. The 73rd step that wasn't a step. Beyond that, I could feel the pull of my body. My real body. Lying on the floor of my apartment. My roommate probably finding me. Calling an ambulance. My heart stopping again. 73 seconds of death, a second chance. "I can't stay," I said. "I have a life. People who need me." My brother's black eyes didn't blink. "You have 73 seconds to decide. But you already decided. You decided 73 years ago. 73 lifetimes ago. You always choose to leave. That's why the number follows you. That's why you keep falling. Because you keep running." He was right. I could feel it. The pattern. The loop. I'd been here before. Not once. Countless times. Each time I chose to go back. Each time I forgot. And each time the number 73 grew stronger. A scar on the fabric of my existence. A reminder that I had died and returned and died and returned, and each return cost me a little more of myself. The door began to close. 73 seconds were passing. I could feel them. Each second was a heartbeat. Each heartbeat was a step. I took a breath. I looked at my brother. His black eyes were crying. Not tears. Something else. Something that looked like starlight. "I love you," I said. "But I have to go." He nodded. He held up his drawing. The figure at the bottom of the stairs was gone. The stairs were empty. The door at the top was open. "Next time," he said. "Don't take so long." I ran. Through the door, down the stairs. 73 steps. I didn't count them. I didn't need to. I knew each one. The worn wood, the bone plaster, the sweet smell of rot. I reached the bottom and fell, and woke up, hospital ceiling, fluorescent lights. My roommate sitting in a chair crying. A doctor looking at a chart. 73 seconds, the doctor said. Her heart stopped for 73 seconds. Then it started again on its own. We don't know why. My roommate grabbed my hand. "You died," she whispered. "You were gone, and then you came back." I looked at the clock on the wall. 7:30. The second hand ticked. I counted. 73 seconds until the minute was over. I watched them pass, each one a step, each step a choice. At the 73rd second, the clock ticked again. Normal. Nothing happened. But I felt something shift. A door closing. A door that would open again. Not tonight, not tomorrow, but someday. I'm writing this because I need someone to know, not to warn you. To tell you that the number isn't a curse. It's a memory of a place you've been, a place you'll go again. The staircase is always there. The steps are always 73, and the door is always waiting. You've been there too. You just don't remember. In the seconds between your heartbeats, in the gaps between your breaths, in the moment before you fall asleep, and the moment after you wake up, you've stood at the bottom of those stairs. You've counted the steps. You've touched the door. You chose to come back, just like me, just like everyone. But one day, you won't. One day, you'll take the 73rd step, and you won't fall through. You'll stay. You'll open the door. You'll sit on the bunk bed and pick up a crayon, and you'll draw the only thing that matters. A staircase, a door, a number. 73 count your heartbeats. Not the ones you hear, the ones you don't, the silent ones. The ones that happen in the space between the tick and the talk. There are 73 of them every minute. You just never notice. Because noticing would mean remembering. And remembering would mean going back. Don't worry. You'll go back eventually. They always do. The stairs are waiting. The door is open. I'll save you a crayon.